In August 2025, the Atlantic Ocean unleashed Hurricane Erin, a Category 5 monster, one of the most powerful storms ever recorded in the region. This immense storm system threatened the entire U.S. East Coast, casting a shadow of fear and uncertainty from Florida all the way to New England. Erin's wind field stretched for hundreds of miles, and even though its center stayed offshore, its outer bands battered the coast with torrential rain and hurricane-force gusts, toppling trees and flooding streets. The real danger was the massive storm surge and waves threatening to inundate everything in their path. Seawalls were overtopped, and entire neighborhoods faced the risk of being swallowed by the ocean. From Florida to Maine, communities braced for impact. Emergency centers buzzed with activity, and officials urged evacuations in low-lying areas, while families hurried to secure their homes and belongings. The storm's slow approach heightened anxiety, as each new forecast was scrutinized for any sign of a shift. Residents watched nervously, knowing a small change in Erin's path could mean disaster. On August 21st, Erin passed about 200 miles east of North Carolina's Outer Banks. Its core stayed at sea, but its reach was devastating, with dangerous surf and flooding rains lashing the coastline. The East Coast dodged a direct hit, but the aftermath was severe. Relentless waves and storm surge turned beaches and towns into waterlogged battlegrounds, leaving behind a trail of destruction. The near miss spared catastrophic destruction, but the consequences were still dire. Homes were damaged, roads washed out, and thousands left without power. Erin's legacy was just beginning, as communities faced the long road to recovery and the sobering reminder of nature's power. North Carolina's Outer Banks, a fragile chain of barrier islands, took the brunt of Erin's fury. Towering waves overwhelmed protective dunes, flooding roads and transforming neighborhoods into saltwater marshes. Highway 12, the island's lifeline, vanished under water and sand, isolating communities and challenging emergency crews. In Buxton, a hotel's ground floor was inundated. In Hatteras, a rogue wave obliterated a dune beneath a bystander's feet. The storm's power reshaped the landscape and exposed the vulnerability of coastal life. Governor Josh Stein visited the battered coast, promising swift aid and recovery. The Outer Banks faced a long road back from Erin's assault. Erin's reach extended far beyond North Carolina, stretching up the entire eastern seaboard and leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The storm battered the mid-Atlantic and Northeast with relentless flooding, chaos and widespread power outages, catching many communities off guard. Virginia, Delaware, and Maryland saw streets submerged under feet of water, while beaches and coastlines were erased by the relentless pounding surf and wind-driven waves. In New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy declared a state of emergency as towns like West Wildwood turned into canals, forcing residents to navigate their neighborhoods by boat or even surfboard. New York's Long Island and parts of New York City faced flooded roads, breached seawalls, and neighborhoods cut off from emergency services, disrupting thousands of lives and daily routines. Officials closed beaches and warned of deadly surf, urging extreme caution as dangerous waves and rip currents threatened anyone near the shore. Emergency services worked non-stop, rescuing stranded residents, providing aid, and managing the crisis as floodwaters continued to rise. The storm's distant eye proved that even hurricanes far offshore can wreak havoc across a densely populated coast, reminding everyone of nature's unpredictable power. The unified response, emergency crews, volunteers, and neighbors working together, aimed to save lives, limit damage, and bring hope to communities facing disaster. Amid the flooding, communities showed remarkable resilience. In West Wildwood, residents navigated submerged streets on paddleboards, refusing to be defeated by the rising tide. Emergency responders and neighbors alike sprang into action, checking on the vulnerable, sharing supplies, and helping each other to safety. Lifeguards and beach patrols rescued swimmers from dangerous currents, and remarkably, no one was reported missing. The storm became a real-world test of preparedness, strengthening community bonds and emergency plans. Despite the stress and fear, people found hope in their collective response. Erin's near miss left a lasting lesson in unity and readiness. The experience forged a stronger, more connected coastline. Even as Erin moved away from the coastline, its legacy lingered in the air and on the ground. Dangerous rip currents and rough seas persisted for days, keeping beaches closed and delaying the start of recovery efforts. The ocean, still churning with energy, posed a silent but serious threat to anyone who ventured too close. Officials pleaded with the public to stay out of the water, warning that the ocean remained deadly and unpredictable. Lifeguards and emergency crews worked tirelessly to keep people safe, but the risks were simply too great. Boaters faced hazardous waves, and continued erosion threatened coastal infrastructure, washing away sand and damaging roads and piers. The aftermath was a stark reminder of nature's power. The cleanup could not begin in earnest until the sea calmed, leaving workers and volunteers waiting anxiously as debris piled up along the shore. Forecasters watched the Atlantic for new threats, but a high-pressure ridge offered a brief reprieve, giving communities a short window to regroup and prepare for what might come next. The hurricane season was far from over, and Erin was a stark reminder to stay vigilant. Each storm brings its own challenges, and the need for readiness never fades. Now is the time to review emergency plans and supplies, ensuring that families and communities are ready for whatever the season may bring. The lessons of Erin must guide preparations for whatever storms may come next, reminding us all that vigilance and preparation are our best defenses.